by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, I denied you guys the sparks. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. I know you like watching the full intro so you can watch me goof up and accidentally almost electrocute myself, but I pushed the wrong button. How is everyone doing today? It is... Oh, I have it in normal latency mode. Okay, there's going to be a little bit more of a delay than normal between me talking and me seeing your responses because I forgot to set it up because we're starting fresh. We have a new build. I know it's been a while since we did the switch wire, which is now way over here. I'm running out of desk space again. But it's been a while since we've done a full build on camera. We've been kind of doing random stuff for the past... Geez, it's been like three and a half months now, has it? Since we did the switch wire build. And now we're going to be building a V1. Okay, so it's the fourth Voron build on stream. We've done a V2, we've done a V0, we've done a switch wire. Now we're doing the V1. So, hope you're all doing great tonight. It is Saturday night. I feel all right. I've got some coffee. For those that know, Tim Hortons sucks, but it's 5 minutes from my house because they're everywhere. So how is everyone doing tonight? I know I missed one already. I seen one while I was getting ready. Who was that? Old Scratch, $100. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Coffee to start and whiskey to finish. I got you covered, man. I got you covered. So tonight's stream should be a good one. So yes, so I have a little intro there. I pushed the wrong button. I'm still I'm still new at this. I've only been doing it for almost a year now. Actually, it is coming up in almost a year. So, the V1 build. For those unaware, I am going to be building a Voron 1. Specifically, the 0.8 model of the Voron 1. So, the V1.8. We're going to be doing the whole build on stream. Tonight's plan, I'm going to go over the components I'm using. And then we're going to start by assembling the frame. I don't want to go into actually putting stuff on the frame until next week because I want to try and segment each stream into its own its own part, because I know a lot of people use these streams to help with the builds. So I'm going to try and break things up. Let me get the music going while we're doing that. So anyways, we're going to be doing a 1.8 build. It's going to be a 250 millimeter spec. We are going to be building it mostly to spec. I am going to change a few little things. I'll call out what I'm changing. But for the most part, this will be a spec build, okay? I want to give a shout out to LDO Motors, Sparta 3D, and Fermio Labs. Those three companies have helped out with this upcoming build by either donating or providing components for reasonable amounts. So those three companies are helping out a lot with this build. And of course, everything else is you guys as well. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for your continued support through either Patreon, YouTube membership, donations like Matt Lamb right now. Like the smash button, thank you. And just anyone watching the stream. You don't, if you can't support it, that's fine. You being here is all the support I asked for. But the financials make it so that I can buy cool stuff to show off on stream. Otherwise, it's a very boring stream if I just print a Benchy every night. So anyways, let's build. So it's a V1. For those unfamiliar with the V1, this is a V1. It's a Core XY printer by Voron Design. You got your gantry. It's a fixed gantry, so unlike my V2s, the gantry doesn't move. It's a fixed gantry. Your bed moves in the Z. You have 2 lead screws on each side of the bed, so that with your bed probe and clipper, you can do your X gantry or your X tilt to tram out your X axis, and then on the Y, you just have a single spring to adjust it on the Y-axis. So it works pretty well. It uses the afterburner tool head. The gantry is actually pretty much the same as the V2 gantry. It's just upside down. Wrong camera angle there. It's just upside down so that the XY joints don't hit the rods. And then we have the electronics backpack. So other than the high voltage stuff underneath, all the low voltage stuff is in this nice little backpack in the back here. And one thing I may do, Samuel, thank you for becoming a member. One thing I may do is if you see this backpack here, I may continue this all the way up to the top. That will give me two advantages. One, it'll get these two motors out of the chamber. Now, these are high temperature motors, so they'll be fine in the chamber. But the biggest thing is it shrinks down the volume of the printer that has to be heated up. So by making a smaller volume, there's less to heat up. You can get higher temperatures. I'm aiming for 70 Celsius in this guy. That's why it's called Toasty Boy. I should be able to get that just off of the bed. Why there's no mention of the afterburner? Because the afterburner is just the tool head that most of the Vorons use. It's not its own standalone thing. It's included with the V1, the V2, the Legacy, and the switch wire. It's just the tool head for it. Yes, I will be using, I will be trying to make a Garolite flex plate too. And thank you for the $5, Spencer. So let me try and catch up. Can you just talk me into using Ethernet cable for motion? Oh God, don't use Cat5. For the love of all things holy and whatever deity you believe in, do not use Cat5 or any type of Ethernet cable for wiring on anything going through a drag chain. The bend radius will destroy it. Believe me, ask any of the old timers who've been around in the V2.0, the 2.1 days when Cat5 was spec. You were replacing wiring looms every month because wires were breaking. For the love of everything that you hold dear to your heart, don't use Cat5 in a drag chain. If you got an umbilical cord, yeah, okay, but please don't. Go silicone, or if you can, PTFE wiring. I'm gonna go PTFE in this guy. Okay, so let's talk about what we're gonna use to build this. Wrong camera again. Hey, look, super lube. Right camera. Zoom out. Zoom in. Zoom out. There's my desk. It's a mess. Okay. So, components. Well, printed parts. I don't know why I have that in there. That's a spare part. So, I printed all my parts in CF nylon. Now, I know CNC Kitchen just had issues with his V0 that he built, where he printed all in CF nylon and he had major creep issues. I'm hoping that it's the reason he said it was, which was an old batch of subpar CF nylon. This is Sane Smart. The parts feel really stiff. I have some like scrap parts here. Like, I cannot bend or break this by hand. Like, this is stiff as all heck. So I'm hoping these parts work out. The first thing I'm going to be doing though, after the printer is online, is completely reprinting all the parts in CFPC and CFPC copolyester. The reason for that is, I'm going to try printing parts in glass-filled nylon as well. And the reason for that is, I want other high-temperature parts to be able to swap in if any of these fail. This is mostly a test rig. This machine is going to be my machine for printing high-temperature stuff, like the CF nylons, the polycarbonates, stuff that likes higher temperatures, and because we want more data on these plastics. So, tell us how you feel. I feel great. Belted Z. So, I think there is mods to do belted Z on the V1. However, with this being a higher temperature printer, I'm going to go with the lead screws. I just believe they'll be a little bit more reliable. But people have pushed 70C in a V2 and it's fine. So, did you print? Yes, I printed them all at still the same spec. So what, 5 top bottom layer, 4 walls, and 40% infill, I believe. Where did I source it? CF, I got CF nylon is Sane Smart. I got it on Amazon. Did I go AliExpress? I'll get to that. I'll get to the wiring. So, that is the printed parts. So, I keep hitting the wrong button. Loop cam. Brain kit. LDO sent this over. It is red. I know my cameras don't pick up red good, but this is good red. So this is the frame. So it's the LDO red V1.8 frame, 250 millimeter spec. Focus, focus. There you go. It's pretty. And LDO gets all fancy, and they actually cut them to size and tap them before anodizing. So LDO frame in red. And the reason we're going red is because it's faster. Any more Ender 3 stuff? I may do some Ender 3 stuff in the future. It's going to be V1 stuff for a while. At least until it's built. Now, we have rods. Because this uses rods. It's like the Legacy. It's got rods for the Z. So, these are the rods I'm using. These are actually carryovers. Oops. Linux installed, $5. Thank you. Appreciate it. Be careful with CFTC. Sometimes they can blend, have a lower TG. Yeah, so if I run into issues, this is why I'm doing it. I want to get more data on this stuff. I know a few people have run CF Nylon just fine. We just want more data. If the gantry doesn't have enough space, I'm fine. So, I know somebody's asking if I extend the wall up, if I'm going to lose space. I'm fine with that. My actual original plan was to build a 200 millimeter printer, not a 250. I ended up going with 250 simply for the fact that I wanted an LDO frame and they don't make a 200 millimeter frame, so I had to go with 250. So I'm okay losing some Y travel. This isn't going to be my high volume printer. Like my V226 is my workhorse. And Tallboy is my, I want to print big printer. So this is, I'm fine not having a full 250 on here if I can sacrifice it to gain other advantages. So, and if I need to, I could probably take the wall out pretty easy. That's something we'll come to when we come to. Keycaps have fallen off my little thing. Come on. Come on. Can't push the button without a key. There we go. So anyways, the rods, 8mm rods. Now, these are actually, funnily enough, the rods from my original V1 gantry, my XY gantry on my original V1, back when Tallboy was a V1. So I had to take them to work and chop them down because these aren't your average stainless steel rods. These are actually old ejector pins from work that we use in injection molds. So these are hardened nitrided H13 at 70 something Rockwell. These are hard AF. So these should be plenty stiff. And they are like within a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a thou accurate. So these are pretty much as good as you can get when it comes to rods. Whatever the heck these things are called for mounting the electronics. Got that. Electronics. Let's talk about electronics. Yeah, gone full circle. Reason you always see black. Black looks cool. Especially with like, I buy bulk eSun ABS Plus in bulk by the case. It prints really well. Black is usually the stronger plastic, depending on the colors you want to print. Some of that, the color they use, like white, they add, I think it's titanium. It actually can weaken the plastic because it doesn't work as well. It's filler. It's adding stuff to the plastic that's not plastic. So black usually tends to be the strongest plastic for the most part. Plus, it goes good with everything. Okay, electronics. So we got some electronics here. So, controller board. Thanks to Sparta 3D, we have a Big Tree Tech, what is it? SKR Pro 1.2. Now, we need the SKR 1.2, or really any controller board that has 6 motors available, because we need 5 motors for motion. We got ZZ, XYE, and then we need a free one, because I'm going to be using a PT100 as my temperature probe. So this right here is a PT100 step stick, essentially. So this plugs in to an open driver slot so that you can take your PT100 sensor and plug it into the motor slot, and then you have PT100 support on most boards. Now, there are some boards coming out with built-in PT100, but this is not one of them. So that's what I'm going to be using there. Neutral beige. Yeah, like you can use natural ABS, but then it's natural ABS, which doesn't look good. Drivers, TMC 2209s, because TMC 2209s are your best choice right now for drivers for 3D printers for the most part. We got our generic screen that I may or may not use. I may use an alternative. We shall see. What else? Power supply. I'm not using an LRS 200. I'm using a UHP 200. So this is a 200 watt, 24 volt power supply right here. Nice and tiny. There's the power supply for the Raspberry Pi for comparison, which funnily enough, I'm just realizing I still need to order the Raspberry Pi. So I got to do that. We got our Omron solid state relay. Got the little mount it goes to. And a buck converter. I don't know why I have the buck converter out. I'm using a separate power supply. But I have a buck converter just in case. So yeah, that's the electronics. Motors. Sorry. I fixed it. I fixed it. I fixed it. I got the long delay button. I need to put a pop-up on the screen. And I forgot before stream, for those that have ever streamed on YouTube, you have to select the latency. I forgot to switch it to normal, so it's on low or high. So it's like a 20-second delay between I say something and then you guys see it. And then I see it back. It's bad. There. Okay. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, 0.9 motors. You don't really need 0.9 motors. We've done testing, swapping them between 1.8s and 0.9s. It's almost impossible to really tell a difference on most prints. If you really zoom in, you can maybe tell a ripple depending on your setup. But for your average Joe, you're not going to notice a huge difference. I'm going with 0.9s because that's what the kit comes with. Here. So we got Gates belts. This is the Triangle Labs Gates belts. The high temperature stuff. A bunch of, what else is in here? Yeah, thermistors, which we're not using thermistors, and then 50 watt, 24 volt heaters. That. Triangle Labs BMG kit, because originally this was gonna, actually I was gonna put a Galileo in there. I ordered that because it was on the bomb, and I just went through and ordered everything on the bomb. LM8 UUs, I think Link CNC, heavy stuff. So for wiring, I have this guy. Okay, so this is a pre-made wiring loom from Fermio Labs. And this has all your connectors already on, and it's the hexafluoro, whatever fancy, super good wiring. So I was going to use this. Okay. I was going to use this, but Vizek wants to send me a spider. So if I get a spider, I need to put it in a V2. Now, V226 here has silicone wires. In fact, I'm running the same silicone wiring loom from late 2.1 days in it. And I really don't know how much longer it'll keep working. I don't know. It's still working, but I don't know how much longer. So I was planning on using this in the 1.8 because it's the same. It's just I don't need all of it. Okay, I'll just loop up the extra. But now that I'm going to have to rewire V226 to put a spider in it, I think I'm going to save this for V226 and go ahead and make my own wiring loom with blackjack and hookers and this PTFE wiring that I got. So I might be making my own wiring loom, it looks like. So, what do you mean muted? I'm not muted. I see the things moving. So yeah, so I might save this. It looks like I might save this for another project. But anyways, if you are going new, you can buy these pre-made looms. Fermio Labs has them. They only really have them for V2s. They don't have a separate one. Now, you can use a V2 one on a V1. Just be aware you're going to have extra wire, so you're going to have to, like, loop it. Crimping stream time. I might make the loom off stream. We'll see. Will depend how much I'm hurting for content that week. Okay. What else do we have in the magical box? IGUS chain. So I'm going with the IGUS chain, not the China chain. For my bearings, the F623 RSs or 695 RSs. Rain Dew off AliExpress. And then all the screws and nuts and bolts and everything. This is all LDO. LDO sent this over. So I got my T-nuts. I got my screws. I got my heat set inserts, and they are the right heat set inserts. Awesome, guys. So that's all LDO. What else? Oh yeah. So for the extruder, originally I was going to put a Galileo in it. But looking back at it, I think I'm going to put the Galileo in the tall boy. Take the LGX that I currently have in the tall boy. Instead of sending it back to Namgria, I actually just went and bought it off of him because I was too lazy to ship it back and I kind of like it too much. So I'm going to hang on to it, put it into V226. And then in this guy, I got another LGX. So I'm going to put that LGX inside the V1. So, Woot woot, Jason. Oh. But yeah, so we are going to be putting an LGX in Toasty Boy. So we'll see how well this handles high temperature environments. Because it'll be pushing pretty hot in there. For the hot end itself, we are going to be using a Mosquito. Because I have two of these. I currently have one of these in V226. And this one has been sitting around unused for a while. So I have it. I might as well use it. It's a good hot end. So I'm going to put it. It's a first gen Mosquito. So this is going to go in until I find something better. What else? Random fans. Random fans. I don't have my rails yet. Hey, Eddie. Heater pad, Kinovo. Nothing fancy. This is their spec, generic, you know, what is it? 110 volt, 500 watt heater. We got the Kinovo pad. Fermio Labs bed. 8mm thick, so I think that's like 5/16. It's already pre-drilled and everything. I am going to be putting the bed together this week. I'm waiting on the RTV to come in because I was going to actually do it today, or yeah, I was going to put the bed together today. But my RTV gasket silicone is it's solid. I didn't put the cap on, I guess. So, I'm waiting for that to come in. I will be making the video or the bed by itself and putting it all together. And I'll make a video on putting the bed together. But I'm going to do something different. I'm going to actually drill a hole in the side and mount a thermistor in the metal itself so I can get a temperature reading of the bed itself. I think I missed a dono there. Oh, there it's popping up. Linux installed, $5. Thank you. I appreciate it. Any specific reason you keep the extruder inside of the chamber instead of using Bowden system to locate it out of the heat? I like direct feed too much. If it turns out to be an issue, I could easily swap it to a Bowden system. That's the joy of the Afterburner toolhead. It allows both. So I'm going to go direct feed, and then if it becomes an issue with temperature, I will swap it. I know people who have run this kind of setup with super insulating it, and they had no issues with direct feed. So I'm hoping I'm okay. Where can you get the Afterburner? Okay, so the beta Afterburner mount is in the Voron users mods section of the Discord. It's not on the GitHub yet, and it's not quite done. For example, to use the drag chain mount, you have to use the drag chain mount that's for the incorrect spec LDO mount or motor mount that's in the LDO section of the Discord pinned. So it's not quite, the whole system isn't done yet design wise. Yeah, so what I'll be doing for the bed, for the heater, I'll be using the 468MP to attach it to the plate itself, and then I'm going to RTV the outside. I'm not going to RTV the whole thing down. I don't think any of the plastics I'll be printing will be pushing the temperatures high enough that that'll fail. And if I am pushing it close, I'm hoping the RTV will help. If it does fail, I'll just peel it off and put a proper one on. And then for the bed, we have... Now this is a high temperature magnet. So this is a rated high temperature magnet. We got the plate, spring steel flex plate from Fermio Labs. Even has the fancy Voron logo. It's got nothing on it, so I'm gonna have to clean it and attach the PEI to it. And for the PEI, I have Muller black PEI. And I actually have 3 sheets of it. So one sheet's gonna go on here. One sheet is actually gonna go into V226 because see this giant bubble? A year and a half, and I finally killed the energetic flex plate on this. Actually, the plate's still fine. The magnet is still fine. It's just the PEI sheet has gone and given up the ghost, and I've got a massive bubble in it. So the CF nylon finally did it in after a year and a half. So a year and a half of use printing ABS and other plastics out of a budget flex plate system ain't bad. And then what else? I think that's it. Oh yeah, the Fermio Labs ACM panels for the enclosure, and then Sparta 3D is sending the ABS panels for the the bottom compartment and the electronics compartment. But the actual outer panels are Fermio Labs ACM. I got the Fermio Labs sticker there. I'm gonna have to get a Sparta sticker and a LDO Motors sticker to put on there. So. What is the difference between Galileo and Orbiter? Galileo is basically an Orbiter repackaged to fit on the Afterburner toolhead. So the guts are the same, it's just the housing is different. Ripped your PI sheet. Ooh, that sucks. That sucks. Is Toasty Boy going to help with ABS? Yes. So, okay, with ABS, yes, you can print ABS in an enclosure around 3540C. But with ABS, the hotter the ambient temperature when you're printing it, the stronger the print will be, especially layer lines. A lot of times you see weak ABS prints is they're not getting enough heat in the enclosure, or the print's cooling too quick. You want to print it hot and let it be hot until the whole thing's printed, and then let it set as one back to room temperature, essentially. So yeah, so that's an overview. If anyone has any questions about component sourcing, The next part is we're going to go on and actually build the frame. I don't know, something connected to my computer and I don't know what. It made the beeping noise. What did the beeping noise mean? Oh well. Any chamber fans. So dust boot. That's going to be one thing we'll look into after it's built. So the first thing is we're going to get it built, get some baseline stuff benched on it, and then I'll go into things we can do to improve performance. Still waiting on the energetic plate from Allie. Yeah, sometimes Allie takes a bit. PTFE link? What do you mean PTFE link? Get rid of this. Oh, source for the wire. I got them off AliExpress. I don't have it on hand. It's saved on my computer upstairs. Ray may have it. Raymond may have the link for it. I haven't used it yet. I just have it in the thing. It feels okay, though. Okay. So, building a frame. I'm going to need some screws too, probably. So let me get these. Thanks for making it easier to timestamps in the comments. So for the previous builds, what I try to do is I try to center each stream about a specific thing. And if I finish that, I pretty much finish the build on the stream, and then I'll fill up the rest of the time. And we try to keep the streams around 2.5 to 3 hours. Depends how tasty the whiskey is by the end. So the reason for that is a lot of people follow along with these streams to help build the printer. So I want to make it easier, because if the stream is titled Frame Assembly and the last hour of the frame is me putting on, you know, mounting stuff to the frame, and then somebody tries to follow along and like, okay, I already built the frame. How do I mount this? And they go to the next part and it's already on. I'm just trying to make it easier for people, because that's why I started doing the videos, was just to help people with their builds. So where did I get the frame kit? LDO. So let's look at the manual, because there is a manual. Oh, hey, look, manual. We build space shuttles with gardening tools so anyone can have their own space shuttle of their own. Aww. So let me zoom in here. Okay, before you begin your journey, a word of caution. In the comfort of your own home, you're about to assemble a robot. This machine can maim, burn, and electrocute you if you are not careful. Please do not become the first Voron fatality. There is no special Reddit flair for that. Please read the entire manual before you start assembly. As you begin wrenching, please check our Discord channels for any tips and questions that may halt your progress. Most of all, good luck. The Voron team. That's me. I'm on the team. Dustin, $20. Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, word of advice, convince Mrs. Speed I need to order parts to convert my ELF to a 1.8 before I even get my 2.4 parts in. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So just say you're building one big printer and order everything at once and be like, you know what, I decided to break it down into multiple printers. Ren Thompson, $5. Thank you. Appreciate it. About to start printing afterburner parts because I can't decide on a 1.8 or 2.4. Insert insight on the pros and cons. Okay, so the difference between the 1.8 and the 2. Okay, so the V1 and the V2. Basically, the V2 is fixed bed moving gantry. V1 is fixed gantry moving bed. The V1 is a bit simpler of a build. The gantry is the same, but the Z is simpler on the V1. And it is a little bit cheaper. You can get a cheaper controller board. You can get less stepper motors. It's a cheaper build, not by a lot, only like a couple hundred, but it is cheaper. Basically, they're both good. One just has more quality of life features. I really like the gantry tramming on the V2s. I never have to worry about leveling a bed ever on those printers. I can take my gantry, and like move everything and make it all screwed up, and then I push a button and it self-levels. That's great. You can't do that on a V2 or on a V1, at least not yet. So yeah, but it's still fine. It just doesn't have all kinds of extra bells and whistles, essentially. I'm doing the V1 because I haven't built a V1, or I don't have a V1 currently. And for the goal of a higher temperature enclosed printer, I think the V1 may suit that a little bit better because of its electronics box, smaller enclosed area, stiffer, hardier Z motion with the lead screws, etc. Omar, 30, thank you, appreciate it. In your opinion, what is the most stressed part on the 350 2.4? XY joint, most likely, or the idlers, the front idlers, I believe. Anywhere where the belts are really pushing on a lot. Johnny, $5, thank you, appreciate it. Some of the best advice I've heard. Oh, thank you. Okay, back to building, but yes, okay. Also, with the manual, I want to say this because I know a lot of people are building Vorons now, okay? CNC Kitchen did his video on the V0. There's a lot of kits out there right now. So, please bear in mind, you do not buy a Voron, okay? You build a Voron. All the Voron printers are designed by the Voron design team. We're a design team. We're not a printer company. So, we've designed printers that we want to build for ourselves, and we share the designs with others, okay? So you're not going to find Prusa manuals with these, okay? We try to make them as detailed as possible as we can, because again, this is all free donated time and everything, but this isn't for profit. We're not a giant multinational company that sells 200,000 units a year. So the manuals are kind of just, they should be enough to get you going. But if you're going into this and you've never wired anything before, you've never soldered before, you don't know what NC or NO means on a limit switch, you've never flow calibrated a printer, I'd recommend either watching a lot of YouTube videos or buying something like an Ender 3 V2 and playing around with that for a bit. These aren't really designed, or at least when all these manuals were made and the printers were designed, they weren't really meant to be newbie printers. They were enthusiast printers. So we're having a lot of questions on the Discord, and there's no problem with asking questions. And if you want to build a Voron as your first printer, by all means, go ahead. Just be aware, a year ago when a lot of these manuals were written, they were written from a point of view of, hey, you kind of know what you're doing already. Most of us know what we're doing. So these are kind of just, you know, how to build it. Because a lot of us built these printers with just a CAD file if we were lucky at the time. So now a lot of people are coming into this completely fresh, especially with all the kits. And with the kits, we have no control over them, okay? So be aware, with these kits, we're seeing components swapped out from stuff we didn't spec. I'm seeing 80-tooth gears, like the 80-tooth gears in the V2s. They're throwing gears in there that don't fit in the printed parts. They're too big. They're not the spec gears. They're just some random 80 gears they found, 80-tooth gears. I'm seeing random motors in kits that have no specs with them at all. We can't find anything about them, and the serial number on them shows a 2011 manufacturing date. I've seen heater pads on some of these kits where the wires attached to the heater pads fall off. These are mains. So if you do buy a kit, just be aware, there's no guarantee it'll work. I don't want to scare anyone who's bought in a kit. A lot of people have used kits to build their printers, but just be aware, you're probably going to have to swap some stuff out, and there's really no guarantee that it'll be 100% perfect. That's why the team does not officially endorse any kits. Now, yes, LDO makes frame kits and screw kits and stuff like that. Those I have on hand. Those I can say are, you know, I haven't used all these screws yet, but they're probably pretty good, okay? But electronics kits are where we're seeing a lot of funky stuff. The wrong heat set inserts are really common. They said a lot of kits have the wrong heat set inserts. So, yes, by all means, if you want to build a Voron, have at her, have fun. These are fun printers to build. But just be aware, you may have to watch some videos before you dive into it, or ask a lot of questions on the Discord. If you don't know what you're doing. If you've built printers before, you should be okay. But yeah. Let's get building. There's my little spiel. Oh, I do plan on trying to put together a so you want to build a Voron video where I go through all the different models and like a bunch of stuff like what I just said about like warnings and cautions and whatnot about building a Voron. I'm actually writing that. It'll probably be the first video that I actually script, but that'll come out hopefully eventually. Okay. So here's the manual. So, you know, it's got, oh God, how many? 158 pages. Breakdown of each stuff. Printing. If you're printing your own Voron parts, why do I have that camera on? I don't need the C920. Goodbye, C920. Put me over there. Put that over there. Turn chat on. Turn alerts on. There we go. Okay. So, printing parts. If you're printing your own Voron parts, we recommend ABS. PLA and PETG, we have just seen too many part failures over the years to recommend using those. Now, if you're not enclosing your printer, you may be okay with PETG. Some blends work fine. Others have creep issues. The problem is we can't narrow it down to which ones are good and worldwide sourcing, etc. So we just flat out don't recommend using PLA or PETG. ABS works. We know it works. Pretty much all ABSs work. We haven't encountered anything that's super horrible. And it works for most people. Most people can print it as long as you put a cardboard box on your printer. There are other plastics like the nylons and the polycarbonates. We're doing more testing on those. This guy's going to be CF nylon, for example. Polycarbonates, a lot of them have issues when exposed to grease and oils where they actually break down and crack. And it gets in between the layer lines. It causes delamination and whatnot. So ABS is just we know it works. It works for pretty much everyone. That's why we recommend it. It's got the highest chance of success. Okay. If you want to print your own parts, because the PIFQ is absolutely insane right now, this is how we recommend you print the parts. You know, 0.4 millimeter nozzle, 0.2 layer height, 5 walls, or 5 top bottom layers, 4 walls, 40% infill. If you can't print them yourself, either your printer doesn't have a heated bed, for example, or you just don't have a 3D printer, there is Printed Forward. You can find that on the Voron Discord there. Somebody with a Voron will print you parts for a very reasonable price. Unfortunately, because everyone wants to build a Voron right now, the queue is quite long. So go to the Voron Discord, sign up if you're not, and the GitHub for a lot of other stuff. Hardware. If you've never seen what any of these are before, because some people don't know what a hammerhead nut or a post-install T-nut is or a heat set insert, here's some pictures of what they kind of look like to help you get started. A frame. That's what we're going to be building today. Okay, let me catch up on chat. I know I talked for a little bit there. Scripted videos, that's a success story. Oh man, I'll sit here for 3 hours and just talk into the camera and then spend 2 hours editing that into a 10-minute video. That's just kind of how I roll. Goodbye, Lube Cam, sorry. The blue rolls BLV. So blue rolls, I'm seeing a lot of people aren't happy with their blue rolls kits. Put it that way. Okay, so we're gonna build the frame now. If you are building the frame, okay, well, when you go to build the frame, if you have something flat, build it on that. Okay, now if you have granite countertops, those are usually pretty flat. If you have an induction oven, like, you know, your stovetop is glass, clean it off really good. That's usually pretty flat. I've used that in the past. It works just fine. If you don't have something super flat, you probably don't need to go out and buy a granite surface plate, okay? You can square up a frame with a tape measure. It's not super hard. I'm going to be building it on my desk right here. This is a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. It probably costs more than my house right now with the way lumber prices are. And I literally have 24-inch linoleum tile cheapos that I bought at like a surplus store stuck to the top as my desktop. So this is not flat, but I'm going to show you how you can build a frame on a not super flat surface and still have it square. Yeah, the 1.8, okay, so again, also, the different models, a V2 doesn't replace a V1. They're different lines of printers, and it's not version, okay? It's Voron 0, Voron 1, Voron 2, Voron Switchwire, Voron Legacy. That's why we started using names instead of numbers, because it got really confusing. So it's different series, like BMW, right? You got the 3 series, the 4th series, whatever series they have now. I don't have one. So think of it kind of like that. All the extrusions. So frame. So for the frames, if you buy them from Misumi, if you use the numbers and the number code in the bomb generator, they'll come with the holes already drilled and tapped, okay? So if you go to Misumi.com, let's see here. Hey, it's actually online. Okay, so configurator, we are building a V1, direct feed, new build, blind joints. I like blind joints. Personally, I like the cubes for appearance, but the blind joints are the simplest method and the cheapest. So show. So where's the frame? Okay, so when you're buying your frame, if you want to go through Misumi, what you literally do is you just copy this whole string of random numbers and letters. You paste that into there, and boom, there's your HFS B5 2020 370 AH 45 BH 325, which is that. But it's Misumi, so it only comes in black, anodized, or yellow. Not a lot of people building yellow frames, okay? So we are going to need these extrusions, these 4, and what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and these ones. Pigeon FX, €5. Take my money. Thank you. Take my education and advice. Take it now. So it looks like I got one extra here. Yeah. Okay. So that, separate the extrusions. Navy Chief, thank you for becoming a member. So we are going to be putting some M516 button heads. Where are my M516 button heads? M510, M516. Oh yeah. Why is there one dislike? You got to balance it out. Nobody can be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Okay, so for the frame, it's blind joints. For anyone, or for people who have never put a blind joint together, it's really super simple, actually. So what you do is you put a button head screw into the end of an extrusion, and then you slide it into the slot on another extrusion, and then there should be a clearance hole that you put your Allen key through, and you tighten it, and that makes your joint. That is a blind joint. Now, blind joints have pros and cons. Pros, they're super simple. because you don't need anything other than your extrusions themselves and screws. And it's super simple. If you go with like the Misumi corner cubes, they look really nice, but they're $5 each. So you're going to need 8 of those. There's $40 to your frame just for adding cubes. So it's a personal preference type thing. You could spend $40 on things that'll get you more performance out of your printer, for example. Now, the downside with blind joints, you need square cuts, okay? I didn't bring it. It's in my garage. I'm probably going to go grab it in a little bit. But if the cuts on your extrusions aren't square and you go to bolt stuff together, you're going to have fun squaring everything up. So usually if you get your extrusions pre-cut, they're usually pretty good. Misumi is pretty good. LDO is pretty good. What's the point of cereals? Just for fun. Basically, when Mr. Russian Cat Food started off Voron, he made a bunch of kits. I think 10 or 20 of them. Sold them to people, and then never built a kit again because it's not worth it. But anyways, those that built the kits, as they finished them, kind of said, "Hey, I got serial number 1, serial number 2," and then people who built their own Vorons from scratch and self-sourcing also applied for serials, and it just kind of bloomed from there. And it's kind of a neat way to keep track of all the Vorons in existence. For example, we're coming up on 2,000 serialized Vorons. We're over 1,000 V2s. I think V0s have already beaten V1s in terms of numbers out there. Thread compound, no. You do not need to put Loctite on these frames, okay? You do not need to Loctite the frames, okay? As long as you tighten them properly, you don't need to. Oh yeah, the China Vorons are not serialized because unfortunately you have to go on Reddit to get a serial number, and Reddit is behind the Great Wall or Great Firewall. Not doing the magic twirl. Kind of awkward in this position. There. It's actually taking me longer to do them that way. Do overhead cam for those watching at home there. What size screws? M516. All the screw sizes are called out in the manual. Yep, got a little bit of a burr. I have to run a tap through this. Now, while these are pre-machined, be aware, most of these are made on a machine. So usually it's just like a jig that just taps them all. So you may need to clean up some threads sometime, okay? I have music playing. It might just not be loud enough. Here, let me turn the music up. There we go. Turn the music up. So yeah. So what I would recommend is among the other tools that you're buying, get yourself a set of metric taps, specifically M3 and M5. So that way, if you do need to clean the threads up on something, like what I got to do right now, you can just run a tap in it and you're done. Instead of, screwing up the threads or screwing up a screw. Because if you get a screw seized in one of these, you're gonna have fun getting it out. These are 2020 extrusions, they're not 2030. How hard is it to cut and tap your own extrusions? Depends on what hardware you have. If you have the ability to cut an aluminum extrusion square, that's not too bad. As long as they're all consistent, okay? So for example, if they need to be, you need 4 pieces that are 400 millimeters long. As long as you can cut all 4 of those to the same length as each other, if you're out by a millimeter, it won't matter. But as long as they're all the same. So if they're all 401, you're fine. If they're all 401, 400, 439, you're gonna have issues, okay? And the squarer, the better. Now, when it comes to tapping, it's aluminum. Aluminum taps really easy by hand, or you can even, if you get a good tap, you can just chuck it in a drill and just drill tap it. But it's gonna take a while, and it is annoying. I've done it. I've tapped the whole frame on my V1 or on Tallboy. It's annoying. It is annoying. If the music's too loud, just let me know. I can't hear the stream. Music tad too loud. Okay. There we go. Okay. Next part. Tapping the V0 frame. Oh. I did that one too. Where's the 2020 from? These are LDO. Okay, so we have our M516 button heads on the ends. So build on a flat surface. Build your frame on glass or granite surface. Basically, the flattest thing you could build it on. Okay, and you're gonna build it upside down. Okay, so if you look at your extrusions, okay, you should have, on the 4 longest ones, you should have tapped holes or drilled clearance holes, 1, and then 2 on the other end. So you're gonna want this end down because we're building the frame upside down. So what I'm going to do is kind of put it all together and then square it up. I wish I had more room already. Actually, I'm going to use the trick. I didn't want to do this because I don't want to risk scratching it, but for the corner joints, cast aluminum tooling plate. That's pretty flat. I'm going to use the bottom though. So that way if I scratch it, well actually it wouldn't matter because both sides are going to have stuff on it. What's the difference between a 10 and 25 amp? One's a 10 amp, one's a 25 amp. With your mains bed, even at 110 volts at 500 watts, I think you're not even pushing 5 amps. So. Using your tool plate as a flat plate is a bit barbaric. You would be surprised the ingenious solutions that go on when you build multi-million-dollar injection molds. Well, okay, not multi-million, million. There's a lot of shortcuts out there. Plus, this is the flattest thing in the room right now. Now, when I go to build my CNC, though, I do have plans. I'm going to try and actually go. I can't right now because everything's locked down in Ontario. I'm actually going to try and go to a granite countertop maker and see if they have like spare part or like scrap or leftover bits that I could use to kind of fab up a ghetto surface plate in my garage. Get like a 2x2 foot or 2 foot by 2 foot spare piece or something. It'll be flatter than a piece of wood that I'm using right now. Last things besides your abs. Oh yeah, the dad bod. Why do you think I wear the apron? It's to hide the dad bod. Yeah, blind joints are one of those things I didn't know existed until I seen them in action. I'm like, why don't more people use this? Like you see at the like the ender frames, for example, they use screws going like right through. Where you basically drill through and then counterbore. It's a pain in the butt. This, it's like relatively simple. It's just a clearance hole. All you need is a clearance hole. So it doesn't even have to be a super accurate on location thing. Uh, 1.8 versus switch wire. One's a Core XY and one's a Core XZ. These are completely different machines for the most part, other than the tool head's the same. Yeah, switch wire is a bed flinger. So on a switch wire, you got a moving bed in your Y, and your gantry is Core XZ up and down. This is Core XY, and your bed moves in the Z. Okay, so we're at this point. Mind access hole position. We do our best to call out things that may bite you later in the assembly process, but may skip things that seem obvious to us. If in doubt, please refer to the CAD model. It may save you some considerable downtime. This is why you read ahead. This is why you read the whole manual and then build it. Okay, So the extrusions that will hold the Y rails are spaced 90 millimeters from the top of the extrusions. Make sure they sit flush with the vertical extrusions and aren't twisted rotated. A small machinist square will help with the task. You guys enjoy looking at this while I go get my machinist square because I forgot it in the garage. So I will be back in a minute. I am back. So, my small machinist square is actually not that small. This might not work. We shall see. Should have left it on loop cam view. I haven't used this thing in forever. So this is a machinist square. They're super handy for checking things that are square. For example, right now, my frame is square. Yay! At least in the one corner. Actually, that is actually not bad. It ain't perfect, but dang closer than I thought it would be. So now we got to put in these guys. So when it comes to putting in these like ones like this, try and not scratch the heck out of your freshly anodized frame. So be gentle, take your time. The last thing you want to do is put a massive gouge in your brand new shiny frame. I gotta spin that one around because I didn't put the holes in the right spot. Dang it. Dang it, dang it. I screwed up. See, this is why you read ahead. These two holes, I thought there were 4 holes. There's only 2 holes. I done goofed. Oh well. Easy fix, guys. Easy fix. Ready? 1, 2. Oh, fixed. Put that back on here. Use my square to make sure they're square. Hold everything together nice and tight. There we go. And then I gotta rotate that one too. No biggie. As I said, nobody's perfect. It's easy to fix it now before we get all the way into the build. David's here. David's here. Everyone say hi to David. There we go. So that goes in right there. Don't scratch the frame. Don't scratch the frame. Don't scratch the frame. There we go. Okay. Tighten that up a little bit. So it's got to be spaced 90 millimeters. So set my vernier to 90. And put her in there. And I'm probably going to drop my vernier. Ooh. Close up. Yeah, I can live with that. Do I have longer calipers? Yeah, I have, at work I have more. So, this is a 6-inch vernier. I actually, if you're gonna buy one vernier, get an 8-inch, okay? It's much more handy than the 6-inch. So if you're gonna buy one, get an 8-inch, okay? At work, I have an 8-inch and a 12-inch. And they're Mitutoyos. This is a generic Nico from Amazon. That's another trick. If you have something like a nice square like this or something really flat, use that to make sure your extrusions are flush to each other. So what you can do is snug up the screw once it's in position on like the 90 millimeter. And then don't like reef on it tight, but just snug it up. And then use your square to align it flush, and then go in there and tighten it down. Now, I'm not reefing the screws yet. I'm finger tightening them with the short end because I got to go through and square everything up afterwards. So we might be bumping some stuff later. You don't want them like reefed down super tight yet. So you need 12-inch inside mic. We have those at work. I don't have them at home, but my shop has them at work. Okay, so now our thing looks like that. And now we need to put the legs. So the bottom extrusions are spaced 320 millimeters from the Y extrusion. Use the linear rods of the Z drive as a guide. Make sure that you're able to slide them in from the side. Make sure that the extrusions sit on a 90-degree angle and are free of any rotation or twist. The outside of the extrusion should be flush. The position of the front-back extrusion is not critical. So if you look here, this extrusion right here and this one right here is critical because your rods go between them. This one here and this one here, they can be wherever. It don't matter because there's nothing sitting on them. They are just there to keep the legs from going bleh. So. The problem is my rods are not, there's some variance to these because I did these on a chop saw. So I got to find the longest one I have and use that. And by the way, I did check these on a height gauge. I used a chop saw to size these and I got them within 0.2 millimeters, which on a chop saw, that's pretty good. This is my tallest one. I'm going to put you there and use you as my guide. And actually, if you want a tip, I'm going to put some blue tape on both ends of this. So that way, I have a little bit of wiggle room because these will oversize it a bit. What do they keep the legs from doing? They keep the legs from going bleh. So it doesn't, you know, go bleh. Should be able to fit in there. Yeah, we're good. That one slides in there just good. There, just good. Good. Bleh is a technical term. It is. Bleh is a technical term, just like thingamajig or whatchamacallit. A doohickey, a MacGuffin, a dongle, a what's-it. Technically correct, the best kind of correct. Like, was it Futurama? I can't remember what show it was where the bad guy's like, I have approximate knowledge of many things. And then he calls like the guy by a slightly different name. Or no, that was no, that was Adventure Time. But yeah, I'm like that. I know a bunch of random stuff, but just enough of a bunch of random stuff. So what I'm going to use here is my first one that I screwed in that I know its location is right, like for Z spacing. I'm going to use that as the reference to line up the one that doesn't matter. I'm going to put my bed away before I scratch it. You know, I'm going to be scuffing it all up anyways to put the stuff on it. And then there's going to be stuff on it, so you won't see any of it anyways. The turbo encabulator. Rockwell Automation, which is a real company, by the way. We use their limit switches at work. That one's stiff. There we go. Okay. So, oh, she be rocking. Let's square it up. Hey, it's a frame. It is not square at all. Let's fix that. Well, the first thing we're gonna do is make sure everything's flush. Which we got stuff that's not flush. Dang it. Stay. Now, if your frame is rocking, by the way, don't panic, because you're depending on where you're building it, you might not be on a flat surface. So, if you put your frame together and all of a sudden it's rocking all over the place, just be aware it might not be on a flat surface. So what I'm doing right now is just going through and making sure all my bits are nice and flush to each other. Prevent them from turning once the screws were tight. Ooh. I know that pain. Now you have to remember, not all the extrusions matter. And when it comes to them twisting, once you put parts on this, it'll prevent that from twisting. This one isn't too bad. On like the V2, the upper idlers, now they've been corrected, so they don't have that issue. But like the original like 2.1s, The whole top extrusions would like to do that if you didn't have like the frame or the enclosure on. It's flush, 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 flush. Let's see how square it is. Out a little bit. Okay, so I need to shift this in. Okay, let's see what we got to work here. It's open a little there. Not too bad. So this side's out. So those got to shift. Where can I shift that? Yeah, that's there. Going through and just seeing what's not right. That guy right there. You are not flush. Now another trick you can do, if you don't have a square, is tape measure. So what you do is you measure corner to corner. Now I went and got fancy and brought my 24-inch scale home from work. So I can do this. So let me see if I can do this on camera. Zoom out, see all my messy desk. I can't get the whole thing in camera. Does the 1.8 have bed leveling? Yeah, it only has it along the x-axis though. So, what you do is you measure corner to corner, and they should be the same. So, now you're going to hate this because this is inches, but we were looking at, what is this? 22 inches, 800 thou. Super annoying. 850, so we're out. We are out. It'll look like on a tape measure. $22 3/4. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. That is not bad. I can live with that. That's actually not bad. That is within like margin of error there. So then why do we have the rockin'? Use a metric side. It doesn't have a metric side. It's got... Focus. Focus. It's got inches. And then it's got inches, but inches with thou. Because that's what we use in machining here in North America, is inches and thous. So that's what, 25, a hair under a half. 25 hair under half, that side square. Actually, I might luck out here. This thing might be square. Because what you do is you basically just keep flipping it and you measure corner to corner. If your corner to corner is the same, you're good in terms of squareness. If it's not the same, you're going to have to start adjusting stuff. Now, obviously, you're not getting 0.1 millimeter accuracy doing what I'm doing, okay? But if you can get your frame within about a millimeter, you're golden. Because you can kind of move stuff around inside the frame when you're putting stuff on to kind of fudge it in. So, yeah. Use both. I'm a manual machinist. Like, I'm a wrench monkey, so all our bridge ports, all our manual lathes, they're all in inches. When the engineers give us a print in millimeters, the first thing I do is convert it to inches. Except for when I'm using the bridge ports with the DROs, because then I just push a button. Over 2 3/4. It's square. It's square enough for my liking. So, yeah, it's just my table's not flat. So I was a little worried because it's, it's doing that, but it's square. So it's rectangular, as Vert says. So the trick with inches, ignore fractions. Okay, if you're going to work in inches, fractions don't exist. It's inch and thous. And that's a thousandth of an inch, right? So if I'm working on inches, I'm measuring something, it's 1 inch, 486 thou. Okay, it's not 5/16. I can't do fractions for the life of me. So if you got to work in inches, which a lot of manual machines are still in inches, thous are your friend. Hey, it needs feetsies. I have feetsies. Put some feetsies on it. They're just M5 16s. 7/32. Oh God. It took me a while to get used to it first, because like in school and everything up here in Canada land, it's metric, but you go to Home Hardware, everything's in foot, right? You buy a 4x8 sheet of drywall. I am 5'11". Like I don't know how tall I am in centimeters, but our cars are in kilometers per hour. It's a complete mix mash of everything. And the problem is, with the proximity to the US that I'm in, we're not getting rid of inches anytime soon. Because whenever we build a tool for an American company, it's in inches. So. Adjust this guy. Hello? Hello? Sorry about that. Low battery. No, okay, sorry, I goofed. The batteries in the lab that I was wearing died, but the receiver didn't, and I meant to switch them out, and they were actually sitting right next to it. I just forgot to. So, yeah. Sorry. I just look over and I see it peaking, and I'm like, uh-oh. So, sorry. I'll have to go back and watch the stream to see what that sounded like. Wow. Oh yeah, my bench is, wow, my bench right here is really bad. I'm like, how is it this unsquare? And it's like, nope, it's just the bench. Sorry guys, I'm sorry. This lav mic, other than the batteries, is working out really well. But in the future, lav mic that's rechargeable, so I don't have to worry about batteries. Come on, we got to have some sort of technical difficulty in every stream. Sounded pretty epic. Okay, I'll make sure I go back and listen to it. Commodore 64 on acid. Okay, hey look, we got a frame. There you go, dancing for the music. This thing uses AAAs. So I have a Costco pack of batteries somewhere. So I know where it is. So I've been like using the same Costco batteries for ages. Okay, frames together. So now I don't want to go too much further in the build because, yeah. So just for size comparison, putting it next to the V2, it's actually slightly taller than the V2, but the X and Y is exactly the same. 3D Obsession, $5 for more batteries. Thank you, appreciate it. I do have a Costco pack of batteries. They're just upstairs. Okay, so frame's built. I don't want to go, because the next part is putting together all of this stuff and mounting it and yada, yada, yada. I don't want to go into that till next week. Simply for the fact that I don't want to, I want to space things out. So each video is its own thing. So what we're going to do is the thing that I hate doing on all the other streams. We're going to put in all the heat set inserts right now and get it out of the way. So what we're going to do is so that in the next streams, I don't have to bore you with constantly putting in heat set inserts. We're going to go through, I'm going to make sure all the parts are nice and cleaned up. And I'm going to put the heat set inserts in. This is also going to be open floor. Like I know it's what, 9:40 right now. So I'm going to stream till 11 like I normally do. But this is going to be like an open question, because if anyone has any questions about the build, or any Voron questions, go ahead and ask them. I'm going to try and put all the heat set inserts in, so that we don't have to do them on future streams. What orange is that? That's Kodak, or which orange? This orange? That's eSun PLA Plus orange. I don't like it. But on the switch wire, that is Kodak orange, which is a nice orange actually. So. Doggo? Let me go see if I can find Doggo. Coda! Coda! Come here, buddy. Come here. Hey, hey, hey. There we go. Coda, come here. Come here. Get over here. Hey, what's this? What's this? What's that? Oh. You just want to go upstairs and hang out with Mama, don't you? Be all mopey upstairs. Oh, okay, you want the pets. What's this? Butt scratches. All the fur. Okay. You're gonna get fur all over my new build. Ah, get out of here. Somebody's getting brushed tomorrow. Okay. There you go. There you go, doggo. Somebody, $6.99, doggo. Yes, doggo. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay. What's the best way to label all the wires? There's a few different ways. I just kind of write with a pen marker on the connector because they're white, so get like a black pen marker. You can also get label makers, like the little heat shrink tubing that you can use on it. So yeah. Yes, and make sure you like the smash button and all that jazz. What do you think of blue Voron frame and Prusa orange for the printed parts? Well, I got blue LDO frame and Kodak orange right here, and I like it. It's like the GT40 kind of vibe. Are these parts pre-kit? This is not a kit. Some of these components are kitted. So for example, this is a LDO motor and frame kit, but this is not a full like kit. Personally, I am against all-in-one kits because I've yet to see any that actually have consistent good quality. The closest one I've personally seen are I think they're the Magic Studio kits, and they're okay because he takes, the guy who does those actually takes criticisms and suggestions. Where some of the other kit manufacturers, you don't know what you're getting in the kit because they like to swap stuff out because people are cheap. Heating up the iron. Will I still be streaming next week? Oh, Navy Chief 49, thank you, appreciate it. Yes, I'm still going to be doing my 8 p.m. stream. The Voron stream will be earlier in the day if I remember correctly. And don't ask me what's going on because I'm not running that. Advice on which one to build, a V1 or a V2? Depends on your budget and if you want the bells and whistles that a V2 has. Place the V0 in the frame? Sure. So, for the references, already running out of desk space. So this is the V1 frame, okay. Toasty boy. And here's my V0. I'd put a banana in there too, but I don't have a banana. And my V0, by the way, is relegated to storage now. I am running out of desk space. So it lives down here with the with the bonsai on the floor. Well, bottom shelf. So what I got to go through, I got to clean up some of these parts and put heat set inserts in a bunch. How is the Formbot kit? Hit and miss. I'm seeing they're starting to swap out some parts to, I don't know where these parts even came from, quality. So I am extremely hesitant to recommend any kits. Somebody local is getting a Formbot kit and they're going to lend it to me. So on an upcoming stream, whenever it shows up, I will go through the Voron kit on stream and critique it and offer my opinion on it. But from what I've seen, might not be some good stuff to say. We shall see. Yeah, you can print you can print all Vorons on all Vorons, by the way. I'm just going through making sure I don't need any heat sets and where I need the heat sets. Because I've never actually looked at the V1 manual. Okay, so these need heat sets. Actually, I need to find my 3mm drill. I got to run a drill through some of these to clean them up as well. Where did my vernier go? That's okay, Kenneth. Whenever it shows up. No rush. Oh, where is my 3mm drill? Oh, where can you be? 3mm drill. Well, 3.1mm. I'm sure I'll be fine. That is not a 3mm drill. Can't wait for the roasting. Oh yeah, I am going to offer a lot of opinions about it. Because I've seen a lot of people get burned by it. Well, not burned, but if you're saving $200 on a kit, but then spending $300 to replace the parts, you're not really saving money on a kit. Put it that way. Okay, the LDO heat sets are good. Yeah, if anyone buys kits, honestly, take pictures of them, put them on the Discord, and let others know if you run into issues. It's actually too hot. I gotta turn this down. Oh, it's broken. Great. Sure. The little knob on this broke off. Mic noise. Heat press stand. Honestly, I haven't had any I haven't had any issues with the doing it by hand. As long as you take your time to make sure everything's lined up properly, it's not hard to put the heat sets in. Ooh, resin. Okay, yeah, resin. No, please don't print parts in resin. I've yet to see a full printer built in resin. Parts last. Will Toasty Boy offer marshmallow opening? Yes and no. I'm working on the Easy Bake Oven attachment for it. So I want to be able to cook muffins in it and brownies. I'm hoping for the cakes too, but we shall see. That may be in a Rev 2 of the Toasty Boy. I'm just going through the manual right now, just looking for parts that call out for heat set inserts. Most of them, I think, are in the tool head. Yeah, it's pretty much all in the tool head. So that one can go in there, can go in there, that can go in there. XY joints can go in there. Actually, this needs one, I think. Yeah, this gets one. Burning nylon. That's a new one. So, here's a fun fact about resin printers. I may have one soon. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Dust Boot, I'm gonna forget heat sets, don't worry. How hot is the soldering iron? As low as it can go. Unfortunately, mine's actually broken, so it's on whatever temperature it is right now. The little knob for controlling the temperature is broken on mine. So I think I'm a little hotter than I need to be. Basically, you don't want to cook the insert. You just want them to melt into the plastic. Too hot is bad. Fortunately, this is also the first time I printed CF nylon, and a bunch of these, I really should have printed this with a 0.6 millimeter nozzle, not a 0.4, but I didn't have any 0.6 hardened nozzles. So there's a lot of, not oozing, but a lot of pressure buildup. Because nylon's a thick plastic compared to like ABS. It doesn't flow as freely. So a lot of these prints have like zits on them. And I'm not going to reprint them because I'm too lazy and I don't have enough plastic. What's CF nylon? Sane Smart. And I went with it because it was on sale on Amazon. and it had good reviews. Actually, like, it prints really well. It just, if I spent more time to tune it in, like, the print quality is, you know, can't really complain about the print quality. The prints are actually really good. It's just I have, like, stringy zits that I need to clean off a few of the parts when it did travel moves. So I'm not too concerned at all, really. Hey, a latch arm. I don't know why I printed a latch arm in ABS. Why do I have an ABS latch arm? You are an extra part. Go in the extra part bin. Yeah, I printed these at 175, I think, was the happy temperature I found. Will say this stuff's actually really tough. Okay, so I need this piece and this piece. These are going to get some heat sets at the bottom. Now, let's put the overhead cam on so you can watch me put heat sets in. Anytime you put a heat set in, you usually have to either run a file or a blade over the top just to make sure that the little plastic that sometimes pushes up is removed, because you want it to sit flush, right? Clean those out. Who wants a Weller? Big mistake. Take a TS100. Yeah, I use a TS100 when I actually solder. This is just an Amazon special that I use for heat sets. That's like all I use it for is heat set inserts. And there's this one here that usually ends up melting a hole in my mat, so I'll do it down here at the bottom. And then hold it with a knife, because the last time I did one of these, I melted it in, and then I flipped it around and put my thumb over it to hold it while I melted the other one in, and I burnt my thumb. So move it so I don't melt my mat. So just be careful with these one. Oh, Max is here. Hey, Max. I'm trying to do all the heat sets right now. We got the frame together already. But trying to save time in future streams and kill time on this stream by... come on. Putting the heat sets in right now. I have no accents. All my parts are printed in CF nylon, the same black. What I may do, I haven't printed stuff like the drag chain mounts and whatnot. Those I'll probably actually print in just my dark gray ASA. So I'll have somewhat of an accent. Belt routing, yada, yada, yada. Afterburner assembly. Now we're getting to the parts where my filament's started to get a little bit wet, I think. It's all the fuzzies on it. I really should have redid my pressure advance tune before printing this plastic, because I printed it with just my ABS profile with temperature tweaks and flow rate tweaks. And I didn't bother to go through and do a pressure advance tune. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but it does cause a few minor surface issues. But everything fits together fine, and all the screws go through everything, so I'm not honestly too concerned. It's all cosmetic. For all I know, these parts are all going to fail within a week anyways, because it's CF nylon, so who knows? So that's why the first thing we're going to be printing on this printer is parts in other plastics. How many stepper motors do you need for a 1.8? You need 5. 2Z, X, Y, E. Want to reduce weight on the X-axis or carbon fiber tubes instead of aluminum extrusion possible? You'll save more weight going to a single X-rail. And in my opinion, chasing grams isn't honestly worth it anymore with like clipper and proper motion pathing and input shaper and whatnot. Like, we're having people print sub 10-minute benchies slinging around a full afterburner tool head with the direct feed NEMA 17 pancake with dual X rails and whatnot. No problem, so. Oh, I gotta put 2 in the back here. You guys heard it right there. There will never be a V3. No more confusing people with numbers. Yeah. Just go into the Russian alphabet now. Voron V1.8. whiskey vodka. Actually, there is no whiskey, it'd just be vodka. Vodka Putin. Next Voron comes with an Adidas track stripe down the side of it. There's your accent piece. And all it is a V2 that's just squatted lower. I think that's it for heat sets. Now I'm going to have to put heat sets in the parts for drag chain mounting, but I'm not doing those yet. So I think we're good there. Yeah, I think that's all of them. So I can unplug this guy because it's starting to get a little melty. Voron V1.8 belt. Yeah, that's the Voron belt printer. The Voron V1.8 printer. The Voron Mini. Yeah. Like, V0 makes sense, though, because, like, you know, it's the smallest one. It's the V0. Although, what were we calling it? The V-Knot? Because the joke was, you know, we were going to call it the V-Knot as a take on Dreadnought. Because it's a tiny printer, so the joke would be we'd call it something big. And it's 0, right? So not 0, like 30-06, or not 03. So V-Knot. Then we stopped using that name. Go. I think that's everything there. So, up. I will say the CF nylon is nice and stiff. Like I'm not, like, compared to some of the ABS parts I've done in ABS Plus, this is much more stiff than that. So hopefully I don't have creep issues. Otherwise we're going to have a bad time, and I'm going to be replacing parts really quick. Color plus animal. Red printer of the owl. Or actually, no, you want eagle. Eagle is the best stats. Where is Discord? Go to the vorondesign.com, and there should be a link there for the Discord under community. All the carbon fiber stuff. This one doesn't need to flex. It's a V1. Gantry don't move. Gantry don't need to tram. Bed does, though. I don't know. I'm out of my crappy Timmy's coffee. Well, we got 45 minutes left. What am I going to do for 45 minutes? I don't know what I'm going to do for 45 minutes on stream. For Scotch, it's whiskey. Wayne Gretzky whiskey. It's Canada. I want to keep building. I really do want to keep building, but I don't want to have stuff mixed between videos. Like, I really want it to try and organize this like I've done the previous builds. Because honestly, I'm hoping next week we have the whole gantry in this thing. And maybe the bed. I really want to hope that next week is put... So I'm hoping... So going forward, we got the frame built. So the frame's built. So what I'm hoping is next week, we put all the parts on the frame. So we get the gantry in and the bed in. Okay, I'm going to be building the bed separate. So this week, I'm actually going to film a video on assembling the bed, putting the heat mat on, the magnet, all that jazz. So next week, I'm hoping I can have all the stuff hung off the frame. And then the next week, we'll either be finishing that up if I don't get to it, and then the afterburner with the LGX. And since we're using the LGX, it'll be a lot simpler to put together. And then, so that's week 3. Week 4 should be wiring, I'm hoping. And if I make the loom on stream, it'll probably be just wiring. And then week 5 would be hooking everything up electronic-wise, power supply, blah, 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 blah. And then week 6 would be firmware and maybe print. So. Can you drop the LDO V0 giveaway? Do you want to give an LDO frame away? Oh yeah, next week. But you have to ping it to me. You can't share links on stream on you. You can't. I would need to share it. So. Hatchbox is okay. I can get Hatchbox up here. Hatchbox is an okay ABS. Honestly, most ABS is good. As long as it's a name brand ABS and not generic, I bought it off AliExpress at $10 a spool ABS, you should be okay. So. And for colors, do whatever you want, guys. I've seen enough black and red Vorons. You know this one's going to be red and black. Week 6 is replacing them. I hope not. This guy is like twice the price. Almost more than twice the price of an LRS. So. Putting together the frame didn't take as long as I thought it would. That took not as much time. Natural ABS and aluminum colored aluminum. Ooh, aluminum. That'd be very... Somebody did a Noctua. Let me find it here. Yeah, let's see here. Tom's Hardware. Yeah, did he finish? Yeah, he finished it. I'm trying to find the finished pictures. Yeah. So somebody did a Noctuous themed Voron. This was... yeah. So somebody went with Noctua colors for their Voron. Austin did it. So yeah, go creative with your colors, guys. This is a V2.2. But yeah, have fun with your colors. Seriously. Like, that's one of the cool things from like the China Voron group that I've seen is they've gone crazy with like the colors and whatnot. So the Portal one, oh yeah, the problem with the Portal one, it was just, in my opinion, it was too much. Like the noise and like the interior stuff was fine, but basically the whole printer just had so much stuff slapped on it, it kind of ruined the lines, if that makes sense. So yeah, CF nylon I've only ever seen in black. So the plan is I have, where is it? Yeah, it's somewhere under there. I have some dark gray. I have some dark gray ASA that I'm gonna print my chain links or my drag chain mounts and all that. Where is my? I just moved this. Power on. There we go. I'm going to try and replace the PI sheet on this printer. Or at least get it ready to swap out. Oh yeah, the Surprise Me PIF colors. If Doc is doing your PIF and you pick Surprise Me, you are going to have fun with your colors. Is there any material as strong, heat resistant as ABS that doesn't give you hallucination fumes? You might want those fumes. They're sometimes fun. But all in honesty, just don't print in a room you're in. Okay, let's heat this bed up. Why PT100 instead of PT or P1000 one needs a step stick? Because the step stick's only for PT100. The PT1000 needs a separate board itself. I should be okay with the PT100 with temperatures. It's just, I don't know. I haven't used the PT100. I wanted to try it on one, and I have the step stick slot for it, so might as well. Freezer trick and dishwasher. Well, I'm hoping since I have a massive bubble in it that I could just heat it up a bit and peel off. And then we'll see what we have after that. I don't know, I'm just trying to kill air before 11 o'clock. I'm honestly super happy that I can start this build because I was starting to knock on Doc's door to drag him in here for an interview. Because I don't think you guys, I haven't, you know, got to the point where I'm counting screws yet on stream again, so. It is nice to be able to build something on stream. Get some gloves on. PT9000. I put it on backwards. There we go. Scraper. That ain't my good scraper. Paramount Silver dollar. I've seen that. I like that filament. Okay, so the bed's at 100. Go to 110. So I'm hoping I could pull the flex plate off and peel the PI off right away. And then I got to put one of those black PI sheets on it because that's my only printer right now that I have a tuned profile for that I can do ABS on. Because Tallboy has the Fadus High Flow, Dragonfly High Flow in it, and I don't have a tuned ABS profile for that. Switchwire is not enclosed. The Ender, and then V0's in storage. So yeah. The EVA build was cool. I did like the EVA build. Yeah, printed Ford was a rep wrap thing. It used to be back in the day, you know, other rep wrappers, but then rep wraps kind of died. Or at least the rep wrap movement has kind of died because nobody's trying to build a printer that prints itself anymore. You have the odd one that shows up at like Murph or any other trade show where you have a printer that can print itself. But nowadays, you know, we're using aluminum extrusions and linear rails and they're not really printing themselves anymore. I'll be doing a more advanced ABS guide. Can't get KVP to not warp like crazy. Turn up your temperatures, turn down your fan. I found KVP, at least on my printers, I had to basically run almost no fan and print a little bit warmer. And first layer is super critical with KVP, I found. So. All the printers don't have desk space for V0. Well, okay, so my V0 and Bonsai used to be here, but I have all the parts for this build out because I wanted them all out. So they're V0 and Bonsai down there. Although, let me run this by you guys. Because I am super famous YouTube celebrity now, I'm getting badgered, well, not badgered, but I'm getting emails now from a lot of printer companies that want me to look at their printers. Now, let's be honest here. Most of them are just cheap Ender 3 clones, okay? Or the like, okay? I think I'm just going to use them as stream fodder, where if they send me a printer, I'll put it together on stream. But what I will do is actually like do the whole AVE thing, the bolter thing, where I take it apart, we dig through it, we point at all the bad stuff, we point at the good stuff, and we just build it on stream just to use as like a weekday stream thing. Like, you know, I do the odd weekday stream. So I think I'm going to use them for that because there's no way I'm going to review them. There's no point. They're all Ender 3 clones. So. No, I've been not offered the Neptune. I don't think I don't think I'm a big enough YouTuber, or I wasn't at the time when they all got their Neptunes. So, but Banggood is apparently going to send me a resin printer. So I will have, I think it's an Anycubic Photon Mono 2K. That was within my allowable budget. So I should have a resin printer to play around with, hopefully in the future. Okay. So what I plan on doing is I'm going to try doing some models and minis and whatnot, but I am going to get some ABS-like resin. I will try printing printer parts, and I'm going to put them on Toasty Boy, crank it to 70C inside the chamber, and see how long it lasts. So we shall see. Okay, let's see. Who wants to watch me burn my hands? Okay, you ready? 110C. Come on. Hot, hot. Hot, hot. Hot. And it's off. There we go. I missed one. Bernard, Bernard, $5. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any day why V2 prints any ABS great, even at, but with KVP instantly cracks the gears even when going slow. I'm not too sure. I know a lot of people, I've only have like 2 spools of KVP and I haven't used them fully yet. But I know a lot of people swear by KVP, so I'm not too sure. I would ask in the Discord about that. That's the plan, Matt Lamb, is basically do like a bolter thing. Like for those that watch AVE, good old Uncle Bumblefuck. He does a thing called bolter where he basically just rips tools apart and looks at them and then puts them together. So I think I'm going to do that with these generic China printers just to take a look at them. Because I'm sure some are doing good stuff and then others, you know, if it's a $150 printer, they're cutting corners. So we'll take a look. There's no point in doing DIY SLS because you can buy an SLS printer for $200. That will be, you cannot build something better for cheaper. So there's really no point because literally all it is a screen and a Z. Like there's nothing to them. And a Chitu box board or whatever they're called. Peter, I may do that if I run out of space. Like I might do that as an end of year thing. Soraya blue resin. Oh, I know resin parts don't last long, but if you get it on video, it makes good content. I should probably turn my bed off. You mentioned test rig for creep at some point. Ooh, okay, I lost that. Ooh, Nurq, $2. Thank you, appreciate it. Let me scroll to chat and then I'll read it. Oh, somebody was asking about a creep test rig. The thing is, I was thinking wouldn't just be a creep test rig. It'd be like a rig that would be able to test everything at once. But I was talking with Stefan CNC Kitchen, and he's already going to do a creep test thing. So I might wait on his. We'll see. Make sure you sign up on the LDO giveaway. Yes, so next week there will be I'm giving away an LDO kit. I don't know what's in the kit. Let me see, because if you want me to link, like you gotta link it to me so I can share it. Like DM me it, and then I can share it. Because you can't share links in chat. And if you're pinging me on Discord, I can't see it during the stream because I have streamer mode enabled. So usually, by the way, for these, you just take this, throw it in a pie plate with a little bit of water and a dishwasher pad, and it dissolves the glue. So throw it in the oven, throw it in the freezer or heat it up, and then you can peel off the PEI, and then the adhesive just comes off. Because like you can use something like ISO, but it doesn't work too well. I don't have a Scotch-Brite pad in here, I don't think. Let me take a look. You might have one. I don't. I gotta clean all that up. I'll have more info about, because I'm going to give away, I don't even know what I'm fully giving away. It's an LDO kit. I don't know if it's just the frame kit or if it's all the stuff for a V0. We'll find out. But I'll be doing that on stream next week. So make sure you're subscribed and smash that bell and like the smash button and all that other, turn on notifications and all that other YouTube stuff that I got to say every video. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Which, by the way, as dumb as it is for like when the YouTube guy says to smash the like button or don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell halfway through a video, if I look at my videos and like the statistics and when people subscribe, it works. I hate it. I hate doing it, but it works. That's why they do it. It's like why everyone, I should have my dumb face in every thumbnail because it works. Same with clickbait titles. they work. That's why everyone does it. Linus Tech Tips did a good video where he explained why all the Linus Tech Tip videos have the dumb, you know, pictures in the thumbnails. It's because they work. So, what time on the 17th? I don't know what time the Voron... There's 2 streams on the 17th. There's the Voron Day stream earlier in the day. I'm not a part of that. I might show up in it. I don't know. It depends on my schedule. And then my stream later in the day at 8 p.m. Eastern, like it always is. Chlorinated brake cleaner. Yeah, that might work too. I don't have any down here. I think I have some in the garage. I don't have paper towels. Yeah, I don't have any Scotch-Brite pads. Normally what I would do is to just Scotch-Brite this off, but... So I'll let this soak overnight and put a new PI sheet on it tomorrow so I can print some more ABS. Vernier Nero. Thumbnail confirmed. You know what? So this week I'm gonna make the video. I'm gonna put together the bed, the Canovo bed, and I'm gonna record it and make a video of it. And I will make a dumb thumbnail with my face in it, doing the soy boy face, and we will see if that works. We'll see how that works. I'm going to hate doing it, and if it doesn't work, I'm taking that thumbnail down. But we will roll the dice. Paul, I stay away from 90% of clickbait titles. The problem is, Paul, though, is they work. So, yes, you may stay away, but most people don't. And for a lot of people trying to make YouTube happen, you need viewers. That's how everything works. Like, you know, I have X company has talked to me about doing a sponsored video. And part of the way the payment scheme is, we'll give you X amount plus X amount per view after. And views matter. So they do what works. It's dumb, believe me, I hate it, but it is what it is. So, in bed with a Thermocouple Pro, both of them were about 10. Is there a way to adjust the offset? Not really, E2. So when it comes to Eddie the Engineer, subscribe to his channel. He did a video breaking down probes, like the temperature probes that 3D printers use, and there is variance. Even like Slice's 450C rated, like $50 probe that they use has like a swing of like 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, where it could just, it's not accurate. It's no probes are that accurate at what we're using. They're consistent though. So your probe might always read 30 degrees lower, but it will always be the same. But when you compare probe to probe, one probe may read right on and one might be 20 degrees lower. One might be 5 degrees lower. There's a swing of where they're accurate in. That's why you always need to run a temperature tower. You know, I never do one, but you should always do a temperature tower and calibrate your print temps to a temperature tower instead of what the box says. Because say your probe thinks 240 degrees Celsius is really 220. As long as you always print at 220, then you're good. So. Dustin, it's 10:45 at night here almost. I can't go do that right now. Okay, Matt, maybe I will use the dog. Yeah, no, I could gather a scraper. I don't want to make a mess. I don't want to make a mess of it. You won't believe number 5. Sitting duck, that is correct. Most of my views are returning viewers. I get a lot of people that watch, like when I put a video out, my initial views are like crazy. And then throughout the day, they go down to normal. But according to YouTube, only 50% of you are subscribed. So those that aren't subscribed, why aren't you hitting that bell right now and subscribing? But yeah, it's actually weird because about 4 or 5 months ago, if I looked at my video views, about 70% of people that watch my videos were subscribed to the channel. Now it's down to around 40%. So that means it's good because I'm getting more people that aren't subscribed or seeing my videos. So when I put a video out, it's more likely to get recommended to people on the homepage that aren't used to my content. So that's good. The trick is to get them to subscribe, because then my numbers go up and I get that dopamine response that makes me all happy. So why 78 likes? Because I don't bait for likes. I don't get it. I don't know how likes affect live streams. My live streams do really good in repeat viewings. Like, my numbers for live streams are actually really good compared to my videos. Like like a live stream will get 10,000 views almost by a week after it comes out. So that's really good. So I don't know how likes affect. I don't get it. So eucalyptus oil. I don't have eucalyptus oil on hand, and right now we're in lockdown, so I can't go into any stores and buy anything. Oscar, so for next week's stream, when I do the giveaway, so as much as it works out better on my end that you have to be in the stream to win, because then it keeps more people in the stream and my numbers look better, I'm not doing that, because I know a lot of the people that watch my streams aren't able to watch the whole thing, because it's like 11 o'clock East Coast when I'm done. That's like 4 a.m. in Euroland. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just, in my opinion, what I think I'm going to do is just put the giveaway link in the stream at the beginning. And as long as you enter during the stream, you have a chance to win. And as long as you reply within like a day or two of the draw, you win. If not, I'll draw somebody else. So that way you at least have to tune in for a bit, but you don't have to watch the whole thing. So I think that's a good mix between the two. Am I on Ontario? Yes, I am in Ontario. Next week, tell us the secret that corporate 3D printers don't want you to know. Okay, Dr. Ronnie, you ready? You ready? If you take the time to tune your printer, all printers print okay. It doesn't really matter what you get. Just take the time to tune it, and yeah. Shh. But some can print really fast, and we like those. "4:40 a.m. in the Netherlands." Ooh. Well, Max, you're out on the West Coast, like. Mon français n'est pas très bien. Je parle juste un petit peu de français, pas beaucoup. Bibliothèque, poutine, baguette, pamplemousse. He knows too much. Send in the asset. Oh yeah, and also don't use bad filament. It's like ABS. Everyone's like, oh my god, ABS is hard to print. Well, what did you do? Well, I went on Amazon and I bought the cheapest spool of ABS because I didn't know I would like it. And it stinks. And it prints like garbage. Well, you bought the cheapest spool of ABS. That's why so many people think ASA is a wonderful plastic. It's because there's more good ASA filament out there than there is good ABS filament. But if you have good ABS filament, it prints fine, just like good ASA. So, that's my opinion at least. What's the orange bus? That is the Spaghetti Detective. Because I need to do a video on the Chimera, and I've been busy all week printing other stuff. So this is the last thing I printed on it. So. I really wish I had more time. I've got a CNC machine there that I need to play around with. I gotta do a video on like the controller board in this and the extruder. I gotta do a video on the Dragonfly High Flow. I gotta do that. It takes a lot of time. Like clipping. Audio is on acid. These are new batteries. I don't know what's going on there. It's a new battery. They're both new batteries. I know the audio. I know the audio. Why is it being all funky? Okay, I think it's okay. What the heck is going on? Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on there. We'll go to podcast mode. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, there we go, podcast mode. I don't know what's going on with this mic. Sign I should go to sleep. Well, it is 11, almost. I'll play around with the mic after. Nope. Here, let me actually listen to the stream. Here, let me settings. Okay. 1 second. Okay, is it any better now? Something's, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It works? Yes? Yes? Okay. Yes? There we go. Okay, okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Anti-F. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that, guys. So here's the trick. YouTube likes when there's a lot of interaction with the chat. So if I have technical issues and you guys all spam F in chat, YouTube thinks that you're all interacting a lot and there's a big audience and it promotes me more. So if I have technical issues and you guys all go nuts in the chat, it looks really good on my end to the robots. I don't know what happened. I switched it from 44 to 48 hertz. Sometimes it does that. I don't know what it is with the OBS in this computer, but sometimes when I boot up OBS, I have to switch it between the two because the audio goes all crappy. So don't do F spam because then I'll think it's actually goofed up again. Have you ever printed high density polyethylene, LDP? No, I have not. I have... Okay, I've got, what is this, CF PC to play around with. And then I also have this stuff. So this is actually what I'm going to try printing first on Toasty Boy is it's filaments.ca, because EA Canada, carbon fiber PC CPE. So this is polycarbonate copolyester carbon fiber. So nozzle 235 to 260, bed 100 to 110. So I'm going to try printing this. I got some CFPC I'm going to try. And then I've got Ultra PA glass fiber. So printing temp 300 to 320 Celsius. Bed temp 60 to 80. So this stuff was actually sent to me by Fadus. I think they want me to test this on their Dragonfly High Flow. I'm going to use it on Toasty Boy. So. E. Yes, we're going to have the deep fried dank memes and just spam E with, what is it, Markiplier's face or something? I don't know. I don't know, memes. I don't know. I would try LLDPE, so low something polyethylene, that's all. Do I have a PO box? I do not have a PO box. So this has come up. A bunch of people have asked this, and I like asking these questions at the end of the stream because it's usually the guys who actually like enjoy the content that are still here. If not, everyone likes the content, but the hardcore awesome people are still here, all 300 of you. Should I set up a PO box? Because people have reached out to me to want to send me stuff. So should I set up a PO box? And I don't know, I could do one of those streamer unboxing things where you just send me shit and I go through. I don't know. Should I? Yes. Do it. Okay, you guys also have to understand, I live in Canada. So shipping, it's not like cheap American shipping sometimes. So. Okay, I'll set up a PO box. Just give us your home address. So my home, so it's in South Detroit. Okay, Raymond, I might actually send. I think you already have my address, Raymond. I think most of the crew have my address already. If you print all your new parts and the CF nylon is holding up, are you going to make another printer? So if the CF nylon holds up fine, what I may do is swap out some components to other stuff to see if that holds up fine. Also, I need to print a whole new tool head for a V226 because right now, this is, let me see, can I actually get this camera close enough to actually see? Probably not. Yeah, I can get close enough. Prepare for shaky cam. Wrong camera. Is it hooked up? Oh no, we lost. Did we lose it? Oh no, we lost lube cam. Oh well. Anyways, the tool head on V226 is a beta afterburner. So this tool head was printed like 2 months before Afterburner actually was released. So nothing in here is compatible with modern Afterburner, I believe. So what I'm going to do is I need to print a whole new tool head for this. And I'm going to try something else. We'll see. What do you mean F? Oh, F for loop cam. Okay. Oh yeah. So my printers kind of have names, some of them. That is V226. That is serial number V226. I have V226. And then I have Tallboy, which is V2579, I believe. But it's Tallboy because it's tall. It's like almost 400 millimeters of Z. So I call that one Tallboy. And V226 is that one because that's just the easiest way to differentiate them for me. And then Switchwire is just Switchwire. They're the only ones I have names for. Yeah, we lost loop cam. Oh well. Working on a spool holder with integrated strain gauge. I've thought about that. Where like, because what you would do is you would basically have to be able, you'd have to have some sort of way of entering a known value, because what if you swap between spools and different empty spools weigh different amounts? So usually what I do, I don't do it with eSun because I know the weight of eSun, but like this spool right here, this is a 250 gram spool, I believe. I don't know how much the spool weighs. So what I would do is open the spool up, put it on the scale right away after I open it, measure the weight, and then say it weighs 500 grams. Take 250 grams off that, because that's how much filament's on it, and then write 250 on the spool itself. So that way, later on, if I want to know how much filament I have left on it, I just put it on the scale minus my tare weight for the spool, and then I know how much filament's left on that. So if you have a scale that automatically reads that out, that'd be great. What size? 250 bed. I'm building a 1.8 1.0 Doom Cube because I try to build printers on stream that are like mainline releases that most people are going to build. Doom Cube is a unfinished mod. I play with mods sometimes, like V0 runs a Belted Z mod. But I try to keep these videos to mainline stock releases so that people can follow along with the build and build them to spec. So. Yeah, some of the cheap Amazon spools do have those. You can't always trust them, but why not make a 1mm cubed? Because Core XY at that size is dumb. Belt stretch becomes a major issue. The printer is not designed to handle that. 2020 extrusions over a meter flex way too much, even with rails. Vorons don't scale that well to that size. I'm not going to convert the Ender to a switch wire because I want an Ender so I can test Ender stuff on it. Like the thing with the Ender, it's so common that if I get any hot end extruder combination, there's already mounts for it. So I can just slap that on. If I convert this to a Voron, then I gotta, like the BQ H2. This won't fit in an afterburner. So if I had converted this to a switch wire, I would have to go through and design a whole mount for this H2. Whereas this, I just go on Thingiverse and download some guy's random mount for it. So because I happen to do content, I want that staying a switch wire or an Ender. What's max size bed for a 1.8? 300. I want to go beyond 300 because you're, just because. So the guy who built a 1m cubed one the other day, he modded a lot of stuff. That is not a stock Voron. So. Okay, if you're going to do a 1m printer, don't do Core XY. Go with a Cartesian style gantry where you have motors for the X-axis and motors for the Y-axis, and they're independent, because that's going to make tensioning belts and keeping things squared up a heck of a lot easier than a Core XY setup at that size. So. What about linear rails on Ender 3 V2? I don't like V wheels. Again, if this was my only printer, I probably would go linear. I like linear rails, they're great. But I don't think you're going to buy too much out of an Ender going linear. I think they're what, $30 each. So if you go, there's, the X-axis, you could benefit from it. The Y-axis, yeah, I don't know. I haven't fully looked into going full ham on mods on the Enders because I have Vorons. But if it was my only printer, maybe. But because I have other printers, I want to try and keep that as stock as possible. So. Time to leave, 5 a.m. I think I'm going to call it 2 photo. So, that was the first stream of the Toasty Boy build. The first stream for these builds is always kind of short because it's literally just an overview of the parts that I'm going to be using and the frame assembly. So, we have our frame. It is here. It is red. It is square. Rectangularly square. It's got feetsies. So, next week we're going to hang some parts off this guy. I'm going to give away a LDO V0 something. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you smash that like button. Like the smash button as well while you're at it, because I always screw up my catchphrase. Other YouTube metric things, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Ring the bell. Sign up for my OnlyFans, I guess. I don't know. I have a Patreon. I got stuff in the description. Click links. Buy stuff that I'm affiliated with. Because you get stuff and I get money and I can use that money on stuff to entertain you. I don't know. You know how it is. I do the YouTube thing. You enjoy the YouTube thing. I'll see you all next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. And have a nice day. Cheers. Oh, wait. I gotta play the other one.
And by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.